Welcome, everyone. Today, we're exploring I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi, a Stanford graduate and world-renowned personal finance expert. Ramit cuts through the traditional jargon of finance with a breezy, no-holds-barred style that is particularly appealing to a younger generation. This presentation serves as a practical guide to building a 6-week automated system that works. Ramit's philosophy is simple. No guilt, no excuses, no BS. We aren't here to talk about cutting back on lattes. We're here to build a system that lets you live your unique, rich life.
We begin with Sethi's 85% solution. The biggest trap in the financial world is decision paralysis caused by an information glut regarding interest rates or recession fears. Sethi argues that getting started is vastly more important than becoming an expert. Aiming to get your system 85% right and moving on with your life is infinitely better than doing nothing at all. It's okay to make mistakes now with small amounts of money so you know what to avoid when you have more later.
Why starting early wins. Why start now? Because the math of waiting is brutal. Consider the dumb Dan versus smart Sally matrix. Sally invests $200 a month for only 10 years, starting at age 35. Dan waits until age 45 but invests that same $200 for 20 years. Despite investing for twice as long, Dan finishes with $60,000 less than Sally. The single most important thing you can do to be rich is to start early to leverage the power of compound interest.
Sethi wants you to redefine what a rich life means to you. It has nothing to do with generic frugality or constant deprivation. Instead, it's about actively choosing what you value and ignoring what you don't. His first rule is to spend extravagantly on the things you love, as long as you cut costs mercilessly on the things you don't. For example, a young professional might spend $21,000 a year going out to restaurants guilt-free because he chose to live in a microscopic room with zero decor.
We must distinguish between being cheap and being a conscious spender. Cheap people care only about the cost and try to get the lowest price on everything, which often negatively affects those around them. In contrast, conscious spenders care about value. They get the lowest price on most things, but spend extravagantly on relationships and experiences that add value to their lives. There is power in saying no to things we don't care about, but more power in saying a big yes to what we love.
The backbone of this system is the conscious spending plan. Stop tracking every penny and replace traditional budgeting with a proactive plan that divides your take-home pay into 4 distinct buckets. Fixed costs, like rent and utilities, should be 50-60%. Investments for long-term wealth get 10%. Savings goals for vacations or a house down payment get 5-10%. Finally, guilt-free spending for dining out and fun gets 20-35%. This plan makes spending decisions automatic and guilt-free.
To succeed, you must target the big wins and ignore the lattes. Applying the 80-20 rule, 80% of your overspending comes from just 20% of your expenditures. Stop agonizing over $3 coffees and generic cookies. Instead, focus on the critical areas that generate disproportionate results: automating your savings and investing, negotiating your salary or earning more, and optimizing your top 2 problem spending categories, usually eating out, clothes, or travel. Get these big wins right, and you don't have to worry about the rest.
Human willpower fails, but defaults never do. Using the next $100 framework, you let technology route every dollar perfectly. Your paycheck goes into your checking account, which then automatically shunts money to pay your fixed bills, transfers money to your high-yield savings, and invests in your brokerage accounts. Anything left over stays in checking as your guilt-free spending money. Once set up, you only need to spend 90 minutes a month managing your finances because the system runs without your willpower.
Sethi structures his program as a 6-week action plan. Week 1 focuses on optimizing your credit, beating credit card companies at their own game. Week 2 is about beating the banks by opening high-interest, no-fee accounts. Week 3 is for opening investing accounts like a 401k and Roth IRA. Week 4 maps out your buckets for conscious spending. Week 5 links everything for automation. Finally, Week 6 is when you start investing in a simple, low-cost portfolio.
We must dismantle the myth of financial expertise.
In a famous blind taste test, wine experts couldn't distinguish cheap white wine with food coloring from expensive red wine. Financial experts are largely the same. Over 10 years, only 2% of active mutual fund managers successfully beat the market. Furthermore, a 1% fee to a wealth manager can reduce your overall returns by up to 30% over your lifetime. The solution is to ignore the pundits and focus on long-term, low-cost, diversified index funds.
The ultimate goal of investing is the crossover point, or financial independence. This is the magic moment when your money makes enough new money on its own to cover all of your living expenses. Once you reach this point, work becomes an option rather than an obligation. You are effectively being paid to live because of the automatic system you set up decades ago. Whether you aim for lean fire or fat fire, this is the result of consistent, disciplined behavior.
Finally, Sethi encourages living outside the spreadsheet. The purpose of optimizing your finances isn't to stare at calculators and net worth fluctuations forever. It is to build a system so robust that you can ignore it and focus on life. Remember, show me someone's calendar and their spending, and I'll show you their priorities. A true rich life means nurturing relationships without financial stress, giving back to your community, and unapologetically designing a lifestyle that fits you, not society. You are in control, and it is time to go on offense. To start your 85% solution today, follow 3 steps. First, define your target. Write down exactly what your unique rich life looks like. Second, build the engine. Open a no-fee checking account, a high-yield savings account, and a Roth IRA. Third, automate. Set up your first automatic money flow transfer for your next payday. Don't wait for perfection. The best time to start is now. Thank you for your attention.